We are ready when you are. Good morning. Our team is the Robo Maniacs, and we're excited to be here. We did a lot of research on water usage. We've been starting last summer. We learned that Americans use more water than any other country in the world. We got a tour of the St. Paul Regional Water Services plant from Mr. Salam Hamid. He's a water quality specialist, and he showed us how they purify all of our water in big tanks to make it drinkable. So it's important to conserve this pure water as much as we can. After our tour, we thought about the ways that water is being wasted in our homes. So we wanted to look at this part of the human water cycle for a problem. We did a lot of internet research, and we're interviewing a plumber and a home builder.
We decided to focus on the bathtub since it uses more water than anything else in the house. We know that sometimes people will start filling the tub to take a bath, but because it takes so long, they leave and do other stuff. And then, if they lose track of time, the tub might overflow and make a huge mess. Or else the extra water will just be wasted down the overflow drain at the top. We timed the tub in our coach's house and figured out that every extra minute would waste 4 gallons of water. We had the idea of automatically turning off the faucet if the water got high enough that it was going down the overflow drain. This would save a lot of wasted water, and people wouldn't have to worry that their tub would overflow. We looked inside toilet tanks and saw how the float arm shuts off the water when the tank gets full after a flush. We also looked at a sump pump, which shuts off from a float tube.
We looked for existing solutions. Our plumber, Mr. Keating, didn't know of any products that would do this. We did a lot of Google searches and finally found the flow bank. It hooks up to the overflow drain behind the tub, and when water starts coming in, it uses magnets to shut valves in the hot and cold water pipes. But a plumber has to install it underneath the tub and hook it up to 6 pipes, and they cost $750. We wanted a simpler and cheaper solution, so we thought of a mechanical arm that would turn the faucet off if a float rises too high. We built a prototype with Legos and rubber bands, and we know it's awkward, but it works. If we would really manufacture this, we'd make a circular attachment that just fits over the faucet itself. We could use a spring inside, like the one in a bicycle bell that you would ring with your thumb. And the float arm would be adjustable for the water level you want, and for how far the faucet handle is above the tub.
We shared our solution with Mr. Hamid at the St. Paul Water Services, and he said I'm all for it. He thinks it's such a great idea, someone must already be making something like it. But we told him the only thing we could find was the flow ban. He said it does serve a need from a water conservation standpoint, which is his interest. Our plumber thought it would definitely work, but might not look pretty to have in the tub by itself. And when we met with the builder, Mr. Petrie, he said any mechanical solution to turn the faucet off, like springs or rubber bands, would mean you'd have to twist extra hard to turn the water on, since that energy has to be supplied to turn it back off. But he called our solution a great idea.
Since the first tournament, we presented our invention to an engineering design company called Kablooey. They thought it was great, and they encouraged us to think who our customers might be, how they could install it easily, what materials we could use, what the most common kinds of faucet handles are. They showed us some of the products they've designed and gave us a tour of their lab.
We also showed our invention to the plumbing specialists at Menards, and they said it was pretty awesome. They said we should use durable plastic like PVC or acrylic and put it in some kind of housing and consider how it could look nice, like a brushed nickel finish. We thought of making our float height adjustable, and we started a YouTube channel and made videos of our robot design and our tub invention.
Since the sectionals tournament, we worked a lot more on our robot. We made these cool hats, and we rebuilt our invention to be more sturdy. We even designed and 3D printed some parts for it. We also met with a patent lawyer, Mr. Jim Rogers, who told us all about the different invention types and what it takes to get a patent. We would file for a machine utility patent, which would give us exclusive rights to our tub invention for 20 years. Last year's team that Jason was on did end up filing a complete utility patent application for their alarm that prevents dogs from biting into pill bottles.
And by the way, this stack of water jugs shows how much water our invention could save from being wasted down the overflow drain of the tub, just during this 5-minute presentation. Thanks for listening. Do you have any questions?
First of all, I love the hats. Okay, so let me see if I got this. So you guys, the main problem you guys are identifying is that basically just overusing water, right? Wasting water, right?
So is it water in the tub, or you had also mentioned the toilet and the sump pump?
So the water in the tub, sometimes people have it on for too long, it goes in the overflow drain, that wastes a lot of water, as you can see. And our invention could save a lot of gallons.
And also, we were thinking it might work for like a sink or something, like if you're filling up a pot or something, could somehow put that, and attach that onto there too.
How did you, so recognizing that Americans in households use way too much water, so how did you identify that the bathtub would be the best route to, or best way to solve that?
We did a lot of internet research and like found different charts and graphs where it showed the water use in the home, and we figured out that the tub uses the most water
Okay.
out of all of those.
And it might be the easiest to shut off quickly, so we could.
So you mentioned meeting with some specialists, the builder, the plumber, and Menards, and the engineer, the design firm. What was the most unique thing you learned, or interesting?
I think the most interesting thing is at Kablooey, they design not only just, stuff that you don't really get to see, but also like toys and things. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, because at Kablooey they had, it was a really interesting place to go to. I really liked that area because they had like inventions and stuff, and they showed us how they built there, and if like they were stressed out, they didn't know what to do, they had games there to do stuff.
So it's a floating arm.
Yep.
And then based on, do you want to show us what
Yeah,
prototype
can we see this thing in
explain
action?
this? So we've got parts here.
So for this, we replaced this with Lego, or with 3D printed. It used to be Lego.
Okay.
And so the person can just turn this however far they want, and it locks. And then when the water rises up to the height of the overflow drain, they'll turn it off. We'll make this, we want to make this adjustable so it can be for different heights.
Yep, and it goes up and it brings this back. And since the last tournament, we have made it way more sturdy. Because it used to be not that sturdy at all, but now we made it much more sturdy.
And we're thinking about, we could use this as a back panel, so it could just like fit on, and then these were for the handle, so it can be adjustable. Fit different kinds.
Okay.
So who designed these parts on CAD?
I did.
Okay, cool.
And he
And
printed
B
most of
and
them,
him
but
printed
I
them.
printed
Yep.
one.
And with the project itself, how we made that is I created the frame mostly, and Josh made the mechanism.
And then it helps make it more sturdy and stuff, yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned PVC. Would there be other materials involved?
Well, maybe acrylic.
Acrylic?
Or we could use like injection molding for plastic parts instead of 3D printing.
Had you done 3D printing before?
I just got a 3D printer for Christmas, and
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
So
that's
who
really cool.
would install it?
Well, we were thinking we would make it easy, so it just kind of like, we take it out of the package, and just so the user can just stick it on and it works.
Yeah,
So it could be a homeowner, or it could be multiple
Yep.
builder.
here's a video of our, is it working?
We're the Robo Maniacs, and this is our invention for a bathtub to conserve water.
The user turns the handle however far they want, and it locks in place.
When the water rises to the level of the overflow drain, the float rises and shuts off the faucet, so we don't waste water down the overflow drain.
Nice.
Nice.
So did you know that you couldn't use water? I mean, here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that
Yeah,
why you
yeah,
developed the video?
Mhm.
Nice, nice work.
Thank you.
So how durable would it be?
Well, we would have to like research different materials, which we have some, and like try to find different durable ones that we could use and make it smaller.
You probably wouldn't want to use normal metal because, I mean, it's around water, it might rust, and that wouldn't look as nice. And we could put in a housing, so then it wouldn't be like that. you know, they can mess with the mechanism and stuff.
Did you ever, have you costed it out, like what it would cost to put it together?
We'd probably make it for like $10 or $5, you know, it wouldn't be that hard. And then sell it for like $20, you know, $30.
And it wouldn't have to be so expensive because if we were ever going to manufacture this, instead of having a plumber or a person to put it in, like they did with a flow band, that costs a lot of money. But if we have instructions, make it easy to attach on there, it'll be way less. So, because instead of putting it on there, you can do it yourself.
Because the flow band also, I mean, you hook it up to 6 pipes and it goes inside underneath the tub. And because it needs a plumber, that gives it an extra like $500, $600. So the thing itself costs like $250, but this one would cost like $30.
Got it, and it's something that someone can just get at Home Depot or Menards and they just come home, throw it on and get that tub rolling?
Save water.
Have you guys had that issue where you turned the tub on and then forgot?
Yeah.
So for the sink too.
Okay. Okay.
So do you know how big of a problem it is? You mentioned
Well,
US waste to
Storm
most.
We have
Yeah,
that
my
chart
board.
We have a chart that, you can bring it up.
right here.
Okay.
Here's one chart. Showers and baths take up 35%. So, and then toilet flushing takes up 30%. So that's a lot also.
Where did you find your data?
Multiple websites.
Yeah.
So websites, you mentioned the
Oh, yeah.
professionals.
Here's one.
And you have a chart with the bathtub, how big it is, right
How
here.
much?
See the
Yep.
bath,
Oh, wow.
compared to like the washing, is just like a
Nice
bathtub
chart.
is huge.
And have you guys shared your findings or your, besides the engineering firm and the other folks that you went for design, but for like the education piece, like have you shared with your classmates or your teachers? Or?
I have a team at my school that was a first-year team, and they made it to regionals. But then we went to my school and we demoed our like robot, and we demoed how that worked. And they were
Yep, and we went to Menards and Kahlua as well, showed them how it works, and they give some tips of how to make it.
nice.
What's on the YouTube channel?
Some videos of our missions, and then the one video with the
That we showed.
Oh, that one. Okay, so both the robot as well as the project.
Project.
yes.
How
Cool.
did you figure out the YouTube channel?
Well, we know that YouTube, lots of people watch YouTube a lot, so
Okay.
they probably would come across it, and they were like, oh, they could learn
I would like looking at that. So,
We have about 1 more minute. If you had a little more time, what would you do next?
a good thing that we'd like to tell you is that this we're actually a first-year team. So this is our first year together as a team, and
And we're really excited to be at state.
So were
Yeah.
any of you in FLL before?
I was in it last year and the year before.
Yes, and I was in it 2 years ago with Jason.
And then 3 years ago, I was in it.
How did you find each other?
Well, I was friends with Josh and Jonathan and then Jonathan was friends with Kyle.
Yep.
But then me and Josh didn't really know Kyle at all, and Josh hardly knew Jonathan.
Yep. So then we
We all
kind of joined, and
friends, yeah.
we all became friends soon.
Very cool. Well, nice job. I want to buy one.
Who's got the best hat?
I'm just distracting you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good luck today, guys. This is cool stuff.